that within the first probably 2 or 3 steps, my foot had slipped and I had fell down. I think about 70 feet down. I do remember the rescue team coming and, you know, just hearing loud sounds of the helicopter kind of just trying to come down towards us.
Pacific Northwest Search and Rescue is an all-volunteer run, donation-based team out of Hood River County, Oregon. We have lots of different specialty teams on our team: trail running team, rope support, swift water team, drone team, a couple others too. And then more generally speaking, we're kind of the ground pounders. So we're out there either searching for people or going to help somebody, kind of doing just the hiking, the ground pounding. Search and rescue is 24/7, 365 days. We'll get lost and injured every day of the year, all times of the night. So we can get call outs no matter when, any time of the day. So, I mean, we got a call out on Christmas night last year. I was with family, got the call out and packed up and went. I've been in missions where there's people cooking, families there. Sometimes after missions, we get cards sent to us thanking us. Even if the outcome wasn't necessarily a good outcome from the mission, people are really thankful that we took the time to go out there. And I think that people realize we're out there no matter what. And so I think that people are really thankful for the time that we take and that we kind of we're willing to go and do what's needed when it's needed.
Our goal with the trail running team is to respond as quickly as possible to difficult to reach locations that maybe are further up trail, where there might be a lot of elevation to gain before you get to that person. And we're just trying to get there as quick as we can. Oregon, where we are, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of topography, and we're looking for people who are lost or injured. People will follow water lines down when they get lost. They'll follow creeks down, and then they'll sort of get cliffed out near waterfalls. That happens a lot. People get cliffed out a lot. I think it's a natural instinct to follow water down. I mean, it's a line you can follow. Like in the gorge, in the Columbia River Gorge, all the creeks are gonna turn into a waterfall at some point. And once you're there, there's no way out except back up the way you came, and nobody wants to do that. So it's really hard in Oregon, where it's predominantly white, and the outdoors is already a predominantly white space. And we're affiliated with law enforcement too, so there's all these strikes against us, in terms of expanding our diversity in our membership. And it's so important to us. And we've been lucky enough to have a lot of women join our team over the past increasingly, but we're still working really hard to increase our racial diversity. But it's a long road because it involves changing our whole region's attitudes. So we're working on that, but we're really trying.
You never really know what kind of mission you're going to get with search and rescue, and the terrain that we get in our county, you're going uphill until you get to them, and then you're coming downhill. It's brutal. And so training is really important on your own time.
my opinion, if you're in the business to save lives and someone's life depends on your level of fitness, you better be as fit as you humanly can be. The LA County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Program consists of one full-time paid unit of people that every day are available for rescue calls, combined with the 200 volunteers like myself throughout LA County that are on pagers 24/7, 365 for any events that happen. The Air Rescue 5 medics are basically the Navy SEALs of law enforcement. They are SWAT certified, they are dive certified, they're mountain rescue certified, they're paramedics, and they respond to any incident occurring in LA County that would require their skills. And that could be an active shooter, they respond to those, or it could be a cliffhanger up in the mountains.
Adrenaline junkies. You know, the bottom line, we love to get a call and we want to help. We had several missions up at Mount Waterman where the search went 3, 4, 5, 6 days and successfully located the person still alive. And you know, those are missions for the books.
When people are exposed to our team or just search and rescue in general, the initial response is always like, well, that's cool, I want to do that. And we're like, yes, yes, you do. And here's the steps you have to take. We require EMT level minimum of medical certification. We require you go through the LA County Sheriff's Reserve Deputy Academy, become a Reserve Deputy Sheriff. And then after that's all done, then you have to go through our mountain school and get mountain rescue certified. So literally the process from saying, I want to do that, to becoming a full team member is usually about 4 years.
2-3 days a week, we're here as trainees going through a program, teaching everything from basic knots to technical rope rescue and everything in between, just before you're even on the team. We take a 200-foot rope, we put a knot in the middle, and we climb vertically straight up off of a bridge. And we get to that knot and we pass that knot through all of our equipment. We keep climbing to the bottom of the bridge. We convert to a rappel, come back down and do it the other way.
This is not a hobby of the month. This is life-changing and a lifestyle. And some people are good with that. Some people aren't. Tonight's victim doesn't care that you have 1,000 rescues under your belt. Tonight's victim doesn't care you've been doing this for 30 years or 40 years. Tonight's victim needs you to get there and needs you to rescue them. That's all they care about. Some of these skills helped me. I went to Ukraine 3 weeks after the war started to do rescue work, to rescue orphans. And, you know, I was able to put my skill set to work, you know, in that arena, which to me was almost life-changing to be able to do that.
I remember a few years back, we had 14 body recoveries one year. Unfortunately, we get our share of homicides and suicide, criminal activity. We also get a very large number of cars over the side. And some of these cliffs are, you know, up to 1,200 feet deep.
One probably we're talking about. I can't talk about it. I'll try and talk about it. So one of my best rescues was also probably one of my worst rescues. We had just completed a training. Our coordinator had started driving down the hill and he came up on this accident scene. He called us and said, hey, you know, you guys got to get down here. So we respond, and there was a 12-year-old girl who was pinned in the back of the truck. This doctor and I are in there, and you know, we're doing anything we can to try and free her. The doctor is, you know, face to face with her, dealing with her, and then he says, "We're losing her. You know, she's going." We get down to her, And at that point, she's pulseless, non-breathing. So we initiate CPR. They bring a litter down. Air 5 had landed down the road, and we loaded the patient onto Air 5. The medics on Air 5 said, keep going, keep doing CPR. So we did CPR on her all the way to the hospital. At some point during that time, on the monitors, we lost her. Then she came back. And then we land at the hospital. They come out with a gurney. We load the basket on the gurney. And we're on top of the gurney doing CPR. And all the way down to the emergency room. And boom, she's got a rhythm. And so, you know, we're all like high-fiving. It's awesome, great job. Unfortunately, 3 days later, she passed. But during those 3 days, her family was able to say goodbye. So that was one of my best and my worst all in the same rescue.
Responsible as one of the 2 search and rescue teams that function in the area, bonded with the sheriff's office for helping the individuals out, whether they're vacationers or Oregonians in that region. You know, throughout my life, I've always been interested in rescue operations, right? As a kid, I always wanted to be a lifeguard and, you know, kind of pursued those goals and endeavors. I grew up in the Midwest on the Great Lakes, so, you know, water was a big part of my life. And I've always wanted to find a way to get more in touch with being able to help people and take those aspects I wanted to do as a child and be a lifeguard or a rescuer, and then apply these to my new stage in life here in Oregon.
We serve just about any part of Oregon and Southwest Washington where we get called. So our team is primarily a ground search team, and then we have various sub-teams that people can join and get certified in. You know, I think everybody wants to help their fellow people. We all find different ways to do it though, and this just really happens to kind of fit me perfectly. I think the first time somebody finds a person and sees that sense of relief in them, it's, you know, it's not just what they say or their facial expression, it's their whole body language changes. You've made that person's perhaps the worst day of their life better, a lot better. The town of Hood River, which is part of Hood River County where we serve, is known as the windsurfing capital of the world.
In bonding with the Hood River County Sheriff's Office, there was a known issue that occurs in Hood River because it has a lot of kiteboarders and windsurfers and sailboarders. It's the wind blows perfectly 10 miles east as the current goes perfectly 10 miles an hour west. We
decided to prep this boat and go out there and just be a presence on the water and help people out when we can. We have several specialty teams. One of them is the Swiftwater team. We take a rope, anchor it on one side of the river, have a swimmer go across with it to the other side of the river so that the rope is crossing the river at a diagonal to the current. And so the idea there is we can put people onto that line. It's a way to get rescue personnel across the river safely. And it's also a way to get our victims back.
Somebody's depending on me out there, right? And this is one of those big purposes of why I joined Search and Rescue, right? That motivation factor of, you know, once you've done all your sports and hobbies in nature, you need something to motivate you to go out more. And for me, the motivation that somebody else's day, right, being the best thing to happen to them on their worst day is one of the terms we use here, means that I have to be in the best shape I can be in order to do that. And that's mental or physical.
I've been a member of the Mounted Search and Rescue Team for 3 years now. All members start out as ground searchers, but I've also got my ice rescue training, swift water training, and low-angle rope rescue. Mounted Search and Rescue is using another resource to help us when we're searching for subjects or clues. The horses are not only a way for us to transport quickly, but they're a partner that helps us actively search. We're fast on the ground. We can go through all kinds of terrain, cross rivers, places that the quads can't go, and so much faster than foot.
We can get some pretty rough trails and pretty narrow, rocky trails where you can't get other stuff through. And even using an airplane, it's tough to see in a lot of the bush we ride in. So they're a pretty good asset. And they give us lots of signs, lots of signals that something's out there, something's in our search area, or, you know, they can tell us what's around.
For years, we've watched our horses, you know, flick their ears and turn their noses in the direction of something that interests them. We've taken that a step further by starting scent training with them, which means that there are a variety of clues that they'll tell us, all indicating, you know, when the wind is blowing the right way, that they can sense something that's out of the ordinary in the environment, and that we might want to check it out. You know, they use the word partner, and I think that's a great word because they all have personality, they all have their quirks, but they really are, especially now that we've taken some extra training, they're searching at the same time that we're searching. And that's not something you find in a quad. It's a very different relationship where we're paying attention to what they're trying to tell us and trying to make sure that we use their clues and use their abilities to help us be successful searching.
November 14, 2015, my family and I decided to go for a hike in Switzer Falls. You know, we were just super excited to tackle this hike that we had on our bucket list, and, you know, excited to see the waterfall towards the end. My older nephew just decided to kind of take off from there and kind of explore. Before you know it, we heard just a fall and kind of like a sack falling down type of sound, and realized that my nephew had fell. I decided to kind of make this heroic move. And that's where I started from, you know, top of the waterfall and decided, all right, let me see if I can climb down. And before you know it, within probably 5 seconds of trying to get down, my foot had slipped. And before you know it, I was down there with him. I had fell, and at that moment, I just knew something terrible had happened to my entire body. I was still conscious, so I was, you know, screaming for help.
I was in a truck with 2 other partners. We were about 20 miles away when the incident came out on the radio.
And we responded down to the Switzer Falls picnic area. At the same time, our Air Rescue 5 was responding from their base. At the same time, the rest of the search and rescue team was responding from our Crescenta Valley station up the hill.
And the crew chief calls me on the radio, says, "Hey, Mike, we have multiple victims. The medics need additional help. So get your guys' stuff on and get ready. We're going to come get you." So throw our harnesses on.
And a minute later, they were on the ground. We were loading and gone. And again, not even 60 seconds after that, we're over the waterfall.
I do remember the rescue team coming and, you know, just hearing loud sounds of the helicopter kind of just trying to come down towards us.
And then they hoisted us each down to the rescue site. And then we just proceeded to assist with the packaging.
And I remember thinking, looking over at the female victim, thinking, she doesn't look good. She, you know, this does not look good for her.
Very critical situation. So as soon as they were ready, Air Rescue 5 came back, hoisted them both up one at a time, and then they had to leave immediately for the hospital.
And, you know, I just remember getting airlifted. Once I was in the helicopter, I don't really remember much. Probably within a few minutes, I think I'm not sure if I just went unconscious or if I fell asleep from the loss of blood. They had told me that we didn't get there on time. I either could have lost my right arm just from having to lose so much blood at that time, or, things could have gotten worse. I was in ICU for almost 6 weeks. I wouldn't be living the life I'm living today. That's, I've got to do so much. I did get married. I also now have a baby. So if it wasn't for them, none of this would happen. And, just to be able to create so many more memories today with everybody.
This is one of those rescues you want to remember. This is one of the ones where it was a big success. So every time I see her post something, it's rewarding. I mean, it's a good memory. It just brings back that whole rescue. And, she's since gotten married. She now has a little boy. She's going on with her life. She's doing well. And that's just, a nice thing to see. So
anyone who's even, thinking about being a part of the search and rescue, you guys are able to go out there and save lives. And you guys, have such an impact on so many people and so many families. You guys are also putting your lives at risk when you're out there trying to save lives. And that just shows how much compassion you guys have towards humanity and saving lives.